Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 75 of the Supply Drop Podcast. 75. I'm your host, Scott,
75
for this week. And yeah, I got Thick with me. And we're going to be talking again, I hate to say, about these games going to other platforms. Some PSVR news, which is pretty big news. A couple of rumors and some whatnots. So, Thick, let's get it. Let's kick it off.
Let's get started.
Yeah. What have you been playing this week?
You know, it's been kind of a light week. I can't say I've been playing much. I played a little bit more Helldivers. But the thing, I normally don't play at the same time as you, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Like I play like right about bedtime, and by that time you're already asleep.
Mm.
But I'm playing it on the PS Portal. And it's been a little frustrating because I've been having issues with my portal. It's more so network related. I think it's something related to the router at home. So I mean that's really a caveat of having like a remote streaming device, right?
Yeah. You are reliant on, the quality,
the mercy of your router,
of your internet. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The thing is, like at work, it's fine. It's better than playing at home directly to my PS5. So it's kind of weird.
So when you're at home and you're playing it on when you're at work and you're playing on their wireless, but you're playing on your PS5 at home, it's better than...
It was better, yeah. It was a better experience.
That's interesting.
I think it's, like how some routers kind of, like, they want to be smart routers right now, right? They're like, they combine the name of, like, the 5 gigahertz quicker network and the kind of low bandwidth 2.4.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. Like, it's trying to switch probably to the 2.4, and that creates a really inconsistent image. It's probably able to reach the same speeds, but with 2.4, it's like it's very up and down. It's not like a steady speed compared to 5. So I think that's probably it. And it could depend on the device too, because I know the PS5 playing remotely while at work was fine. Like, it connected to the network, it has to connect to the same router.
Right.
While my portal was connected to the same router, it's been having issues, and it's really on and off. I don't really get it, and it could also be someone else in the house is streaming something, so that could be a cause.
Yeah, that's always an issue as well. I mean, maybe you can put a static IP on your portal and prioritize it over the wireless. But I don't know. I mean, can you even do that with a portal? Does it even have settings in there to do that?
You could probably do the static IP thing. I think it's more so, you could probably prioritize the traffic on your router. But then again, for a product like this, it's like you don't want the customer to do so much to just get the most out of it, right?
Right.
So, and that's always going to be a kind of contentious. But there's a thing with this and cloud gaming, remote play. It's always going to have this issue until I guess you got to find a way to work with the router manufacturers to figure out how to make it better.
Right. I would say you could play Helldivers 2 on your Steam Deck, but unfortunately with that Protect software, it doesn't allow you. It doesn't work on
I've
the Steam
heard
Deck.
people try
Linux. Yeah, there's workarounds, but I don't think anybody's having a very good Steam experience with that.
Yeah,
it'll get
low
there.
Performance, right?
Yeah, they'll probably drop that or change it or go with something else later on. But that's something that I would love to play on my Steam Deck. I've been playing. I was playing it right before the podcast. So
were you So about Helldivers, you've been playing more Helldivers. Have you noticed any changes like for the past week? Because I feel like I'm starting to actually notice like actual groups in these points of interest that are actually playing that I can join. Because previously I would just start something and then like I don't see like other teams doing it. So I was able to join like a 3-man squad, and that one objective where you're supposed to escort people. It's probably the most hectic one. It's basically you're supposed to escort 40 people, and it's basically there's like a couple points on the map.
Yeah.
It's not the map. Sorry. One point of interest. There's a couple doors, and you basically have to go to each door and kind of tell them to come out.
Hmm.
And while that's happening, it's constantly spawning those ships coming down.
Hmm.
And this is in the automatons.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
I
yeah,
don't.
okay, yeah, I haven't gotten
You
to
haven't
those
gone to
yet.
that yet?
No.
Okay, I'll give them a try if you haven't, because it's a
Well,
lot tougher.
yeah, I have to upgrade my weapons. I haven't been able to play all week. I didn't get to play at all
Okay.
last weekend, and I really I didn't want to. The way people were playing basically was just waiting in the queue and just waiting and waiting and waiting until
Okay,
eventually,
okay.
you get in. I didn't want to do that. So I just waited till they updated the servers. I think they went back to capacity, or they went from 400,000 to 750,000 capacity. And since then, I've been consistently been able to get in and play. So for me, it's like playing day 2 of this game release. I'm
Okay.
like level
Yeah.
8 or something. So I'm kind of behind.
Oh, don't worry. I'm even further behind.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah.
and the people that I'm playing with, they're like, no, you don't want to do that until you get your, your main weapons upgraded and you get some better this and that. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's fine with me. I'm fine with shooting bugs, but I'm still having a blast with it. I have gotten in some matches, and you may experience this too, where people just, they just kill you
Kill
and
you.
take your
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Like, like it's Division 1 all over again. So don't do that. It's a co-op game. Come on, don't be a jerk. But yeah, other than that though, I've had a good experience with it. The servers seem to be much more stable. The games that I'm getting into are more stable, and I'm not seeing the weird bugs, pun intended,
Yeah.
that I was before. That was probably server related. With
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
skittering across the map, or they're right there, but they're not right there. They're over here. Stuff like that. So, but man, I love this game. I'm having a blast with it. And you're playing on PS5. How's the performance on PS5? Is it
Seems
good?
pretty good. Are you using your DualSense on PC or just Xbox hold on, sorry, keyboard and mouse?
I'm offended that you asked me. Yeah, I'm using keyboard and mouse.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be a fine game to use the PS5 controller, which I do have one. I have one for my PC, but no, strictly mouse and keyboard.
Okay. Okay.
Which I find it's easier to hit the arrows, the up and down arrows, because when I played the first one on PS4, the D-pad, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's up, down, left, right, whatever. But on the keyboard, it's WASD, so you're like ta 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 ta. I mean, it's just like typing. So
It
it's a lot
just tells you
quicker.
the letters,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's
Oh.
up, down, left, right.
Oh,
It's
they
still the
still use the same thing.
arrows,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But you're using WASD to do it, which is what you naturally use. Your fingers don't move on the
Move
keyboard,
from it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
I
people
get
are
it.
like, you see them hit it's like, and they throw it. It's like, oh, that guy's on PC, because it's like,
Uh,
you're just typing like a gazillion words a minute. But yeah, the performance. See, people have had some issues with the performance. I'm haven't. I'm usually anywhere from 70 to 90 frames per second. I haven't had many. I've had a couple of minor glitches here and there for like graphical stuff, but nothing
yeah.
that crashed my game or anything. Is it 60
Well,
FPS on PS5?
it seems like it. It definitely feels like pretty fluid.
Yeah.
What I say, like I do think the reason I asked for a dual sense, because since you have one,
Mm-hmm.
is I think they do a very good job with how it feels in the game.
Yeah.
Like even when that starting kind of intro when you start a mission where the ship, if your ship has to like warp to a different location,
Yeah.
it does the feeling of it on the dual sense. It has a pretty nice haptic to it. So I think out
Yeah.
of all the games I played with DualSense, this one's probably done one of the better jobs,
Oh,
like
that's
handling
cool.
the feedback.
Yeah.
I would give it a try, just see how it feels.
Yeah. I will give it a try. And I'm glad to see that developers 3 years in are still using that controller. Everything with that controller, because usually, like a year after that special controller is introduced, and that those games that use everything, and then everybody's just like, forget it, I'm not going to use that. So that's good.
You were talking about the Wii here, so
Yeah. Well, the Wii's a little different. It's like you
Yeah.
had to use that. I mean, that was the controller, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's kind of like when the PS4 on the swipe pad, that was on there. It's like every game used it for like a year. Like
Yeah.
you did this and swipe that and swipe, and then after that it was just like it's a button. It's just a
Yeah,
map
pretty much a
button.
button.
Yeah.
Although
So
I do like how it's used in Days Gone, because I think if you swipe a direction, it
mhm.
will open um that specific direction of the main menu. Because that's what it is. It's the four directions. And like I mean you could
Oh
click
yeah, I
it.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That was just like a nice UI experience.
Yeah, they did utilize that really well. Like I said, in that first year that those games came out, Killzone. What was it? Killzone, the one that came out with PS4. Shadows Fall.
Shadowfall?
Yeah, that was you. You had that drone, and you swiped up for like for it to be like an attack drone, left to do this and right to do this, and that was very intuitive to
Yeah.
have that because you used your D-pad for other stuff. So you just swiped with that one. But yeah, anything to get more input on a controller without creating more buttons in space and stuff with it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So how'd you fare in Helldivers 2? Did you liberate
Ah,
any bugs? Did you?
with that type of was it objective,
Yeah.
it was really tough because like like I said, I was playing on the portal, and every probably 30 seconds for a while, I would just like the portal was pretty much disconnect from my PS5. I come back and I'm dead. So like in this sort of
Yeah.
game, it's a little bit tough. At first I had three others with me, but when I came back, I was by myself. They probably booted me. So
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's tough.
that's happened to me. Okay.
I tried doing those solo too. I
Oh,
don't
yeah, I did.
recommend it.
Mm-mm.
I
No.
remember I had a old public game and I was doing it solo and they just kept spawning. I could not really
Ooh.
manage them. And the guy comes in and he's just like screaming the whole time because he can't manage them either. I think it got way out of control. So
Yeah.
we failed that one. But I took him to an easy one afterwards because this seems like this guy's first match because he's level one.
Ooh. Yeah,
Not
I would definitely start with some easy missions on this first because this
yeah
game doesn't really tell you. You have a tutorial, and even the tutorial is kind of like a little bit of a joke, kind of like
yeah
a game joke. It's like here's your gun, shoot your gun, and here's your cover.
yeah
This is how you throw a grenade. You're ready to liberate, but and it just like throws you on the ship. And it kind of is making fun of, I guess, military boot camp and whatnot. But
yeah.
yeah, you kind of have to figure things out on your own. If you do want to play it solo, which you can play it solo, but I would definitely start on easy and go
Yeah,
from there.
the depth. I haven't even gone to level 2 yet.
Yeah,
So
I found out today you can turn your flashlight on and off on your gun.
there's a
This is
flashlight.
like yeah.
Okay.
You can change the rate of fire and all kinds of stuff. I didn't.
The rate of fire, I figured it out. It was just like holding the reload button, right?
You get like a
It's a
little
little
pop
bit,
up menu. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit easier, I guess, because on controller you're probably holding it down accidentally a couple times, so you can figure it out.
Yeah. And it tells you it tells you in the game to do that, but of course you're not paying attention because you're and it gives you instructions why you play the game. Like earlier, I walked in some water that was deeper than I didn't know it was like you could swim. So I guess it just dipped. I like went under the water and came back up, and it said
Yeah,
avoid drowning. Stay out of the water. Like okay, like you didn't need to tell me that, but I get it. Like hey
yeah.
idiot, avoid drowning.
They should just let you drown because dying is part of the game, right?
It is, yeah, yeah. You die just in the most stupid ways. It's it's one of those games that you can watch other people play and I think have almost as much fun.
Yeah,
For just the chaos that it creates. So it's yeah. And if for anybody, I would say get it now. I think it's good now. I think the servers are getting better. They said that they are going to start adding more servers, obviously, as new players buy this game. They even people were suggesting like halting the sale of this game I know Sony's like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No, then
What?
that's not going to happen. But they were like, hey, how can you sell this game? You can't even get on the server. And I'm like, have you played a modern game lately on,
Yeah.
did you play Battlefield 2043 or whatever, 2042 when it came out day one? I did. It was unplayable. This game is in a much better state than most AAA titles. It's just the servers are, they're just kind of being crushed by their own success. So, get it.
Yeah.
Play it. It's good. There's a petition. Have you seen the petition?
For Xbox?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I understand why, but but now a lot of Sony fans are being a little bit, it's like, oh, this is our exclusive. That's like good when they didn't have anything for a while.
Right. Yeah,
But
well,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that petition probably would not have been made if we hadn't had the news we had last week. It's going to, because everyone at Xbox is like, hey, enjoy our games. What are we getting?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, is that all you played this week? Surely not.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out. I played something on Game Pass.
Tales of Arise.
I did play a little bit.
I saw you play.
Yeah,
I downloaded it. Yeah.
You download? Okay,
Yeah.
so you finally got a chance to. Did you? How much did you play, or did you play anything yet?
I started it. Unfortunately, I had I've got 5 minutes until I need to leave.
Oh yeah.
And then that was a total mistake. I'm like,
first there's a cutscene.
There's like a 20-minute cutscene, so I had to shut it off. I haven't gone back to it yet.
I started on PC just so I can get the achievements because I always do that get Microsoft rewards thing.
Yeah.
So if you do one achievement per day for at least 15 days, you can get 1,000 points on top of another thing. And then 1,000 points is worth about a little bit over $1. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I like those rewards points. I also I started doing the Sony rewards points too, because I think they actually reward you a little bit of money with the amount of points for
Really?
yeah. So those things are always nice. It's just like a loyalty thing. So I mean,
yeah, it seems like I remember I had royalty points for PlayStation, and I realized it emailed me. It's like, hey, you got all these points. You need to go to the store. I'm like, oh, well, okay, I got these points. I don't know how much they were. And I'm like, well, what can I get for these points? I got Uncharted 4.
Oh,
I got a whole game.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a Microsoft's, and I'm like, well, I can donate $10 to a charity. That's about it.
That's weird. I think you should have been able to do something. I feel like they separate the donation stuff now.
No, I'm just saying that's all I had enough credits for.
Oh, okay.
It just didn't. I never seem to have enough to. And I don't play achievements or not. I do not care about achievements. I don't care at all. I don't care about 100%ing a game.
That's too much effort.
Yeah, well, that's not why I play games. I don't play games to, be a completionist. I don't. I do them for enjoyment. So, but anyway, well, would you like to hear what I played this week other than
Yes.
Helldiver? This is I always bring this this really old game to the table, but a friend of mine had been playing Valheim.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined them. I downloaded it on Game Pass, and I had bought it on Steam when it first came out and played a little bit of it. And it was really rough. I mean, anybody that bought it on Steam when it came out, it was kind of buggy, and you lose stuff, and it just wasn't. I don't know. I just felt like it really wasn't for me. So I joined his server, and man, he's got this beautiful home and all this stuff, and we start doing stuff, and I was like, this is great. And so I showed this to my wife, and she's like, what is that? I'm like, it's this Viking game. She's like, I'm like, look at the house that our friend made. And she's like, is that on Game Pass? That was Wednesday. I don't think she's stopped playing since then. I mean, she's had to go to work, but it's usually, I think I saw her yesterday when she got home for 2 seconds, and then she's building. So she's all over it. So we've been playing Valheim, like all three of us get on a server, play co-op, build stuff, repair stuff, go look for kill trolls. I mean, there's all this stuff that you can do, and it just goes to show that much like Helldivers, co-op is where it's at, man. I really do think that co-op is just my favorite way to play games. Multiplayer, playing competitively is fun, but it doesn't really give you the same experience as co-op. And Valheim has been a lot of fun. We're killing trolls and making capes and building stuff, But yeah, it's fantastic.
That's good to hear, because it really reminds me of Terraria. Like, to me, Terraria is one of my highest played games on Steam, and it's not like all consecutively. It's been like throughout like the course of like a couple years. Like, a friend wants to play it, so then I join them. We get like a good 25 hours into it, and then we just stop. It's fine. And that game, I think, is still being updated, or they finally finalized updates recently.
I think recently they have moved on to their next game. Yeah. Like their whole team.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. This game is since 2011. So yeah, I remember I've had like 3 different major sessions with the game, and it's always been fun, and it's with friends. So
yeah, and it's those experiences they're not about capturing the flag or domination or anything like that.
And you don't just move on to the next lobby, stuff like that.
And this is and on a lot of those games, I mean, they have a story, but the stories that you remember were when, hey, you and your bud went to this and did this, and you remember that happened, and as opposed to just having a story fed to you. And I've said this before on the show, and we talked about this, but State of Decay 2, another game, I just absolutely love that game because of the base building and the co-op and doing things with other people. And the reason is I hate that game. It has no story, And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've got 10 stories I could tell you right now of stuff that, happened in the game that we did and
that's the same thing with Sea of Thieves.
Exactly. Yeah. It does kind of have a story now, but when it came out, no, it was the stories that you tell are the ones that you create. And I think that's what gaming at its core is.
It should be about those moments.
It's about the experience. It's not about, being storytellers, I don't want to be fed the story, that's just a couple of people's representation of what's happening in the game you're playing, which is fine. But for me, I'd rather play something like Valheim and have our own stories. Hey, you remember that time So anyway, I just, I love co-op games. I wish that Dragon's Dogma 2 was co-op. I think that was the highest requested feature of the next one. Yeah, but it's not. Maybe they'll add it. I don't know. But
originally they wanted to do an MMO, right? If I recall.
Yeah. But no. I mean, I think what they're doing is much better than an MMO. It's really hard to do an MMO right now. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're waning, but there's so many games now that require your time that MMOs have become. Like, if you want to play an MMO, you've got to be committed. You've got to commit yourself to it, and not a lot of people are, willing to do that because of games like Destiny 2 and Division 2 and all these other games of service and stuff. So
okay.
Anyway, so that was my week. Helldivers 2 and Valheim. Again,
those are both
like 4
good
years
games.
ago. Yeah. Good stuff. So. All right, with that being said, let's jump into the news because we've got some stuff that we did our own predictions, and I did my predictions for the games, and I was wrong. But these don't make sense. So let's get into it. Arx Technica had the story. I chose them because I kind of like them, but we've got some dates for these games. So the 4 games that Phil Spencer would not mention on their podcast was Grounded, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Thieves. So the rumors of those games were actually true. Those are the games that are going to other platforms. So Pentiment, which I don't understand, not that it's a bad game, but I mean, on Switch, okay. But on PlayStation, I mean, why not a game that... Anyway. Pentiment is February 22nd on Switch and PS4 and 5. We got
it basically released this week, right?
Yeah. And that's Obsidian's. Basically, it's a story. It's a game novel. It reads like a Middle Ages novel, and very stylized. It's up here. It's a really good story. I played it for a little bit. I really couldn't get into it. I mean, it's just to each his own. Hi-Fi Rush, which is an amazing game by. This says Bethesda Softworks, and technically it is, but it's made by Tango. God, I forgot their name.
Tango Gameworks, right?
Is it? Yes, Tango Gameworks. I believe so. Yeah. But they're owned by Bethesda. They're all kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But anyway, so March 9th on PS5. So this is going straight to PS5. It's not going to Switch. And we talked about that last week because of the limitations. It has to be 60 frames per second to work right. Yeah. It'd be in a rhythm game. It makes sense. But unfortunately, sorry, Switch.
And I remember like looking at the game. It's been such a long time. I only played it like the first month. Mm-hmm. But like it is a very beautiful game. Like there's a lot of details to it that the Switch probably can't handle without like big changes to the game itself.
Yeah. And I kind of get if a developer's doesn't want to develop for a certain platform because it is too old, and you're sacrificing a lot of the maybe things that make that game special. Not necessarily graphics, but you know what I mean? I mean, like, I don't know. I could see that. It's like, why would you want to degrade it that much? But so we've got Grounded, which makes sense for both games, on the Switch, PS4, and PS5 on April 16th. And that is an ongoing game. It's a survival game, but it is a live service game. They're adding new stuff to it all the time. And then, of course, Sea of Thieves on April 30th to PS5, and PS5 only. No PS4 or Switch version. I was kind of surprised that it's not going to PS4 because it's technically an Xbox One game, but I get it. But yeah, so April 30th, PS5 players get to play Sea of Thieves. And again, I'm just going to, how do you feel about this? Do you think this is good or bad?
I mean, I think it is kind of what it is. I'm curious on how this will develop long term. Like, I don't think these are like system sellers by any means, right? They're just
no. I mean, obviously not. I mean, it's like if you want to, like, oh my god, I got to play Sea of Thieves, I need to buy an Xbox. I'm sure somebody did that, but it's not like causing them to fly off the shelf.
But I think this is overall a good brand play to at least get their names out there, because out of all three major console makers, like Xbox has probably the worst brand image to like just the average consumer. So if they can get the Xbox Studio name out there and it does well, I think that's brand building, which is what they want to do.
Yeah. Well, what's exciting for me is that if they do this, then hopefully Sony and Nintendo will follow suit. And of course, I don't think Sony nor Nintendo, and more Nintendo than Sony, are going to just kind of fork over all of their exclusives. I don't think it's going to work that way. But I feel like, if people get to play more games, and especially kind of trade those off. Microsoft obviously does not have like a God of War or The Last of Us, or anything like that.
Third person,
the regular, Horizon. They don't make games like that because they don't want to. Those games are not as profitable as something like Sea of Thieves. If you say what you will, selling 10 million copies of a $70 game makes you money, but when it's said and done, the sales of that game don't continue.
Yeah,
They drop
I mean
off in about a
it's
month.
probably why PlayStation was doing the initial staggered release, but now maybe with the what they saw with Helldivers, they'll start to do the day one as well on PC at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, that would be smart. That would be very smart because if Helldivers 2 got released, a year later on PC, I don't think it would
Hmm.
be doing as well because you don't have that marketing, you don't have that, that fanfare. Nobody's talking about it. I mean, after a year, nobody's going to be talking about this game.
Yeah,
Even if it was a smash hit on PlayStation 5, most PC players, they're not going to a PlayStation website to see what they have available,
yeah.
but having it day and date is obviously been really good for them. So let's have more of that. More people getting to play more games is good for everybody. I've seen the videos, people supposedly throwing their Xbox away as they gently lay it into a very clean
Yeah,
garbage can and say how much they hate Xbox now, and then obviously turn their phone off and grab it and go back in and plug it back up and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know play Halo. But yeah, it's just it's just how do I say this without sounding like old man yelling at clouds? But these are corporations. They don't care about you. They don't. They're not. They're in it to make money. And
Yeah.
if putting their games on other platforms makes them more money, then they're going to do it. I think Sony is going to see the value in this, and I think they're going to start doing it. And let's see, maybe Helldivers will be that chipping point, that breaks that little chip that breaks that iceberg of maybe they'll be like, hey, there's a petition for this game. If we did put it on Xbox, maybe we would make more money, right?
Oh, potentially, yeah.
We'll see. I doubt it.
Yeah, you remember I know this was probably a different publisher, but the PC version of Death Stranding came on Game Pass one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we at least see it on PC Game Pass, at least.
Yeah, that would be great. But that's a little different. That is Hideo Kojima Studios, which is not owned by Sony. And if I'm understanding right, Death Stranding is also not owned by Sony. It was a PlayStation exclusive. They did pay for the exclusivity, but Sony owns Helldivers. They don't own the
I see.
studio that makes Helldivers. So that's kind of the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
So
you.
if they don't, so it's still, yeah. At the end of the day, whatever happens with Helldivers is kind of up to Sony.
It's kind of like Banjo-Kazooie, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So it's all legalese. We're just the peasants. We just got keep games. So, but yeah, I think this is a great thing. I think they're going to do more of this, and I really hope that these games sell well on other platforms. Some of these just are. I played Grounded. I'm not a fan. I think it's good. It's solid. Obsidian did a great job for their first
It's no
true
Valheim.
survival. It's no, it's really not. But Hi-Fi Rush is an excellent game. It is super fun. And of course, Sea of Thieves is, man, Sony these people don't know what they're going to do when they get Sea of Thieves. They have not played anything like this.
There's
It's,
this one meme on the Sea of Thieves Reddit where it's
yeah,
you've seen it, right? The Pirates of the
probably.
Caribbean, the one with the two ships, and then one ship in the middle is the PlayStation players, and PC and Xbox players got the cannons, are the pirates, and they got it pointed at the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
they just blow up on the PlayStation
yeah,
player.
yeah.
So that's pretty
Yeah,
much what they're
it's gonna
expecting.
be it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve. You're gonna be
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, hey, over there, hey, oh look, they're coming this way now. I'm gonna
yeah,
make some
they
new
look
friends.
friendly.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I think it's exciting. There's nothing like that on PlayStation. There's really not. So get it, have fun with it. It's a get your buddies together and go sailing.
I I think one thing I would say is it's very interesting. Like basically at this point, all three major console manufacturers are not really just console manufacturers. They all
Mhm.
three have very different strategies. Although I would say PlayStation kind of continues to copies some things that Nintendo and Xbox does, but they all have their unique strengths, right? So
Yeah, as far as strategy, I think the only thing that Sony does that's exclusive to them is raise prices.
yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, every strategy that they do is something that's a course correction for what Nintendo's doing or what Microsoft is doing.
well, they're changing their strategy for one thing,
They
which we'll
are,
talk
they
about
are.
next.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So we can go ahead and go into that. So Nintendo and Sony exclusive players enjoy these games. They're really good. Just go ahead and get them. And if you got an Xbox, don't throw it away. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to go into yours? Are we talking about Nintendo first, or we want to talk about
I'd
the
say we
cool
talk
one,
about the well,
the
well,
cool
I think they're
story?
both cool in a different way, but yeah, basically, and they shared in the blog post like a couple days ago that they're testing PSVR 2 support on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think didn't I predict this like last year or I mentioned it,
Yeah.
right?
You did mention it, and I was like, "You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You should." Yeah. Yeah. But no, this is going to be a thing, and we all
Yeah,
agreed that it was a good idea. I mean,
yeah.
it is a very good idea, and it's uh. So when? I mean, let's
Uh,
go.
yeah. The thing I'm wondering here is, does it mean we're getting a PS2, oh, sorry, PlayStation app of some sort on PC, or is it going to be natively through like Steam? Like it'll
I
be
would
recognized generic?
Yeah, I would guess it's probably something on Steam. They're going to go through. It may rely on Steam. I don't know.
Yeah,
That is a
that's
good
hard to
question.
say because
I don't. Yeah, I don't have any VR, so I don't know exactly how that
it's kind of convoluted.
works.
Like
Yeah.
Oculus, like if you want to play like an Oculus, say, I don't know, like Rift or something game, you need the Oculus app. Actually, that Oculus app is causing issue with like audio and well, output and input. Like they add extra audio and input on my computer, and it kind of messed up some of our podcast tests before. So, but I mean
Oh
that's a
yeah.
little bit
Oh
separate.
yeah. I deal with that all the time.
Yeah. And then Vive has the Vive port, I think, which is weird. And then you gotta download a Steam VR. It's not very user friendly, in my opinion. But I mean, you have to install a lot of stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's understandable.
So I do feel
So
like there is going to be a Sony app of some sort, but will
maybe.
it be included with the store? You know, are we going
Yeah.
to get
See, that's where I
Grand
was
Theft,
going. Right.
Gran Turismo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would love Gran Turismo. So
Well, it could be, and this is. I don't think this is a bad. I mean, not, as you know, I do like Steam, and to be honest, I don't want another store to download, on my
yeah,
computer. But it would make sense if they are going to start doing day and date on these games. Then they want to have something on the PC that will um, that connects these games to PlayStation. Like right
yeah.
now, you can get Horizon, but the games that they release obviously are not multiplayer, so who cares, right? But when they start
Well, except for
replacing,
Helldivers right now. So
well, that's what I'm saying. So with on Steam, you're relying on Steam to communicate and everything with everybody. I wouldn't be surprised if they released an app that kind of that they sold PC games on that app, and then of course it allowed you, like the Xbox app, to create a party with PlayStation and kind of connect that together. I mean, you can almost do that on the phone app, and a PC app shouldn't be. I mean, anybody can do better than the Xbox app on the PC. I mean, good grief, the rudimentary understanding of Python, I could probably come up with something that's better, functional than that piece of crap. So, yeah, I could see them doing something like that. It's like, hey, it's for your PSVR, but oh, we got these other games in the store, and then,
that's
but
one
as much
way. Yeah.
as much as I like Steam, the more games I have on Steam, and the more I kind of have everything tied into Steam starts to feel more like being on a console, you know, like having like that. It's like I'm on PC, everything's open, but then again, everything, you know, is tied to Steam. So anyway, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see. So your prediction is PSVR goes to PC and launches with an app with a store.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and I guess I'm assuming this is gonna be late, like maybe Q4 or over the summer.
Yeah,
because I feel like they're gonna start pushing the hardware for holiday, right?
Oh yeah. And then there's still the rumor of the PS4 Pro. I mean the PS5 Pro coming out this holiday.
I'm sure we might hear more about it. Yeah, they could.
Yeah, I would wager that if they were going to do PSVR goes to PC, that would be a summer thing, because they would really want to push that hardware for both going into the holiday.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, this is, you know, maybe something at E3 or E3-ish, or, you know, the Keighley show or whatever the hell it's going to be.
Summer of Keighley.
Yeah, they'll announce it and then it'll launch, you know, this holiday. Wow, that's cool. Well, you know, what does that make them? Third-party hardware.
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean,
their controller's already supported on PC, so.
You know, yeah, I mean, back in like the early 2000s when I built computers, we always had this, there was always a wonder why could you not take a Nintendo, like say a Super Nintendo, and make a card that you can install in your computer, and it wasn't an emulation card, it was an actual Super Nintendo that you just used like a graphics card to play Nintendo games inside your, you know, in your computer as a hardware device. We always thought that was why. I mean, like, why does that not exist? But I guess now it doesn't have to.
We kind of know why.
Well, you know, I just mean in general, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, you could apply that to, you know, a Sega or, you know, anything. And then, you know, after that, the Xbox came out and was basically a PC in a box. So I guess we kind of figured out why they don't do it. But, you know, I always thought that would be a really cool thing to have. Now we just don't need them. We just have a hand. We just, you know, phone. You could implement them on and play all those old games on your phone if you want to.
Pretty much at this point.
Yeah, so that's exciting news. PSVR going to PC. Yeah, bring it on. Just the more, the better.
Are you going to buy it, Scott?
No.
Will you buy it? No,
it's too expensive. It's too expensive. It's that hits my threshold for am I going to use it? You know, even that, you know, getting a Steam Deck, it's at that threshold. But I'm more likely to pick up something that I can just turn on and play it than putting on headgear, getting this set up, getting that set up.
You gotta make sure your face is clean, maybe your hair not too greasy, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot involved with it, and honestly, I would probably play more games that were like Gran Turismo or Star Wars Squadrons, things that I would be sitting at my computer playing as opposed to jumping around and, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that disconnected from, you know, everything else around me.
Your space. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying never, but it's just, you know, maybe if they drop the price.
I feel like we might see a $400 price tag eventually.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to depend on sales and production costs and all of that. If they're making a buttload of money on each one of these, which they could be, they might drop the price to boost those sales. But historically, they're just gonna forget about it. They're just gonna like brush it under the carpet. So we'll see. That, you know, they've got new leadership there. Maybe things will be a little bit different from now on.
They still don't have a new CEO.
They have the interim, yeah.
Yeah.
I like this guy though. He's awesome.
I do like this guy. Yeah.
He's probably him. It's like, hey, this PSVR. Why is this not on PC? Go to PC now. Make it happen. You know.
Yeah. Imagine he is pretty much like does wonders for Sony, right? Like he just makes them third party. So
he's gonna go in and make everything third party, and then have to leave. Like, okay, bye. Deal with that.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great for everybody. God, I get so frustrated with people that are like, no, I don't want people to play my favorite game. Like what?
Yeah, you already played it. You
Yeah, I
have it.
mean, what? Why
It doesn't
not?
affect you further.
Yeah, I mean, let more people experience. Let PlayStation experience games that you actually do the things in the game that you're used to seeing a cutscene for. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sea of Thieves, there's no cutscenes. You're doing all that. You're swinging across over to that other ship. You're taking it over. You're throwing barrels in there and shooting them and blowing up the boat, then jumping off and jumping back on your boat and sailing off into the sunset with all their treasure. That's you doing that, not a cutscene. Let people experience that. Just it's good. It's good stuff. That's what gaming's all about. I think people sometimes forget that. It's not about the brand you're playing, what box you have. It's about the game itself. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Okay, so
The next news, right?
yeah,
Or are we good?
You're gonna go into the Nintendo Direct because I did not recognize like 90% of these games. If you want to start with the one I do know, yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just like kind of give my overall like kind of summary of it, because like there's a lot of smaller games. You could tell the Switch is kind of sunsetting, right? This is like
it's in the slide, yeah.
yeah. Now this isn't like a first party direct. It feels like they're holding off their major titles for later, right? Like
maybe Switch 2.
Maybe Switch 2. Now, I mean, there is a rumor that they're gonna have an announcement in April and then a reveal on June. Now this is just rumor right now.
Nah.
I'm not gonna fret it. It doesn't matter to me. Whenever they show it, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
But
It's like with credit card in hand, is it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Pre-order now. Yeah.
I'll pre-order.
I get you.
I'll pre-order like 3 of them, and whatever actually gets shipped, I'll keep it. If a friend wants it, I'll sell it to them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did with Xbox Series X. I got one, like online, like click and click, 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 click. And I'm like, oh, I think I got one. And I paid for it. And I'm like, I got one. And at the same time, my wife was trying to help me get one. And she came in the room and she's like, I got one. I'm like, wait, you got one? She goes, I got one. I said, I got one. So we got 2.
Both buy one?
Well, no, she had an Xbox One and she didn't really care to have one. So we went ahead and got it and just sold it to a friend of ours. I mean, I didn't like, it's like $700. Yeah. No, I sold it to him for exactly how much we paid for it. But I called him up. I was like, "Hey, do you want a Series X? I just got an extra one." He's like, yes." So yeah, I get that. You get a couple of them, and you make sure that you got everybody covered that wants one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. And also, you never know. Like with first gen.
Terrible.
Yeah, with first gen, you never know if it works or not, right? Sometimes you get like a dud, and then you can't get another one if you try to go buy it. So that's part of the reason I like to order extra. Plus, there's always going to be a high demand in the beginning. So if I have to, I'll resell it. I've actually done this once. The thing is, you can't really resell it on the upward market at a cheap price because someone's just going to take it and jack it up.
Yeah, that's yeah. We'll see what they do about that. Scalpers are just terrible people in general. They're just horrible people. Yeah, I don't really. I just hate that. So yeah, if you do get another one, you may not be able to get 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and there might, they might, the word just escaped me, but I mean, you might not be able to get more than one on that credit card or your account or whatever, which does make sense. So you don't get like 4 or 5 of them and sell them for $1,000, but that's just the way things are. But it's not 2020 anymore, and hopefully when they do announce this thing and they come out, they'll be abundant and everybody can get one. Probably not. Anyways,
Nintendo Direct, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
start with my favorite.
Kind of sum it up. Oh, your favorite?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What
would you grade
what
it?
I saw, I probably graded like a B. I think they showed a lot for the most part.
They did show a lot.
It was mostly ports, remakes, and kind of sequels to more of their B franchises on the console. So
yeah,
that's what I really noticed. which really kind of highlights the ending of the console because the 3DS did the same thing. Like they started releasing like old sequels, remade, or just a port. It was very basic. So it's always this is the sign I always see at the end of Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
So it's on par. But I think this time there's a lot more ports than usual. So it's good to see some of these. I think, interesting enough, the very first thing it opened with was Grounded. That was the very first video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was surprising.
I mean, it looked fine, like just based on
Yeah.
the trailer they show. I think the game will work pretty well on Switch.
Yeah, it's
And
probably going to look very
crossplay.
close. Yeah. It's going to look probably pretty close at just like 30 frames per second, whereas
Yeah.
it's 60 on. So, yeah, it's a fun game. I got a friend of mine that plays that with his kids like all the time. Like
Oh,
it has like yeah, it's like he's so happy to find a game that his kids are really into that he can play with them.
yeah.
Um,
Do they turn on the spider filter? You know, where it turns the spider into
no, I
like
think they're
this
cool
floating
with
ball?
that. No,
Okay.
no, I mean it's they're cool with the spiders. Not everybody's scared
Uh,
of spiders. I like spiders. I'm like one of
yeah,
those
spiders are okay to
snakes,
me.
not so much. Spiders, yeah, I like spiders. I would have if my wife would let me, I would have like a
A
tarantula.
pet spider.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's a subreddit called Spider Bro, and it's just people that love spiders. Like they show
sweet,
it's all sorts of spiders.
yeah,
So
sweet.
you got to add that.
Yeah, I'll go
um,
do it after the show. You better not
was
be
it there?
trolling me. It's
No,
like something
it's
else.
there.
Like,
It's there.
oh
Unless
my god, what is
it's
this?
the wrong. It might be the wrong name, but I'm pretty sure I subbed to it.
It's
So,
okay. All right. Hope it's not
um,
something else. Um. Okay, go ahead. Back to
oh,
Nintendo.
yeah. Just so, yeah, we're not covering the directly, are we? um, we got a couple of titles. I'm not going to mention the name. They're kind of like out there. Unicorn Overlord, which is by the people that made that Dragon something. It's like they made that very artsy game on PlayStation at one point. I swear, I
Oh,
forget the
I know what you're talking. Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
thank you. So they
yeah.
did
I like
Unicorn
that game.
Overlord. That's releasing everywhere. There's a demo on it
Yep, it's
out
demo
now.
right
So
now.
I've been meaning to play it. That was something I was going to go over, but I haven't gotten to it. Right? There's a demo on everything, Xbox, everything. So if I were to get this game, I'd probably try to get it on Xbox because I want to get more support for these sort of games on Xbox. But any case, they re-released the 3DS game Monster Hunter Stories because
Hmm.
there's Monster Hunter Stories 2 was already on Switch. Now this is just a re-release. I think they're massaging a couple things, adding a few new
Yeah,
systems, then calling it a day. Epic Mickey, that was a Wii game. Now that's getting a remake.
that also came out on PlayStation, did it not?
I forget, maybe two
I
did.
want to say. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. It had a sequel. Yeah,
yeah. Now that's good for people that like the game, or grew up with the game too, because I think it probably deserves a little remake. Um, it's no Steamboat version of Mickey, but it's official. So,
yeah. You know who made that game? Um,
who?
it was what's the guy's name? Warren.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Warren
Warren
Spector,
Spector.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the guy that made Deus Deus Ex, System Shock. He goes way back. He's yeah, like we're talking about like pre DOS days on PC making
Mm.
RPGs and stuff like that.
So,
He
are you
apparently
gonna
is like
get this game then?
no, he's apparently a huge Disney fan. So
Okay.
they asked him if he wanted to make this game, and he jumped on it. I don't know if they made the sequel or not, but he did make this, and it looks good. It looks like a modern Nintendo game.
It's probably like like those old Disney games like Aladdin that were kind of like cherished by people. I think this
Hmm.
has its audience. This is also one of the better Mickey games at the time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
now Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is basically like a Persona game. It's the more hardcore version, has a new version now. So basically, this is not really a remake or a sequel. It's just a enhanced version of an existing game. And now this is also releasing on all the consoles. So
hmm
I think that's interesting. Like a lot of things in this direct too are also multi-plat games. Like they're multi-plat announcements, but it's in the direct.
Right.
Same with Battlefront Classic. I think
Yes.
that's the one, right? That's
Yes,
the one
that's
you're
the
talking
one.
about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now that's of course going to be released on everything, but
Yeah.
this is fantastic, man. This is great. I mean, you realize what this is, right?
This is making amends, kind of.
Well, no, not necessarily, but this is Star Wars Battlefront, the original Battlefront,
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 in one package with new multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all new. I mean, not new as in, I don't think they really added anything. But it is updated and hopefully has some more updated controls. But this is coming out on March 14th. This is coming out on everything. This is fantastic. This is stuff that we want.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
a nice retread, right? Because like the original games essentially, I mean, it still exists, right? I think it still exists on
Yeah.
PC at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've got both of them on Steam and they work. They're fine. Finding a game is, I don't remember the multiplayer working at all. I don't know
Yeah.
if the servers were still up.
I could see that. And
Yeah.
the thing with these older multiplayer games is hacking. Like
Yeah.
some could be kind of like malicious to your own system in some ways. Some people find exploits.
Yeah, just for getting on the wrong server at the wrong time. But this is going to
Yeah.
be a new version, a new updated version. So it's not going to be the same executable as the original ones,
And it's
which
at
will
a
help.
fair price, right? I
It's
think
like
it's like
$29.99,
40.
I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good, reasonable.
Yeah, I mean you get two
I might even
classic
get
games.
it. I never played the original, so
Oh man,
we'll see.
I have so many fun. I played it on the original Xbox when it came out, and I almost like burned my TV in with the heads up display. I played it so much. Yeah, it was just we hadn't really gotten anything like that before. That large scale Star Wars battle, and
That makes sense.
this scratched that itch, at the time. I mean, if you've never played it and you play it, it's gonna probably feel a little dated, but it's also really fun, and especially 2. 2 was great. 2 is you start on a ship, you fight on the ship, you get in your ship, you fly to the planet, you get off the planet, you fight some more. They didn't even do that. You don't really do that in the newest version. So they had some really good ideas. Now the guys that made this, trying to think of their name, start with an S, originally, which were closed by EA. Pandemic Studios. Yeah, they made these, did a fantastic job. They were working on 3, and then they closed studio and gave it to Free Radical, then closed them, and then gave it to DICE, and DICE never made a 3.
I see.
So, but anyway, yeah, I'll shut up now. It's
Hopefully,
good news.
do we know who's porting it, or
I don't think so. That's
so?
a good
There's always a
question.
concern, right? Like sometimes these can go pretty bad.
Well,
But,
they could. I mean, you would really be hard pressed to mess this up because they're already backwards compatible, playable on Xbox. They're
Yeah.
already playable on modern PCs. So yeah, I mean, you'd really have to screw this up to make it not playable on modern stuff.
Yeah.
I know that Star Wars Dark Forces is also coming out. So it was supposed to come out in February, the remake, and that's being done by what is it? Is it Night Dive Studios? I think. Something
I
like
would
that.
not know, but
Yeah.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Maybe they're doing this one. Usually, you see their logo at the beginning of the game if they do theirs. But
Okay.
so I'm excited. I'm getting it.
I will wait for your opinion on it. So
Okay, I'll get it. I'll take the wallet hit.
yeah. So now there's another thing is they're getting South Park Snow Day, which is that smaller title. Looks like just like a PvP title. So I think I don't mind the South Park games because like some of them are pretty fun. So hopefully this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you remember the older ones like the N64 South Park games?
No, I didn't play
Oh,
those.
okay, they were pretty fun at
I
the time.
the one that Obsidian made,
Oh, the Stick of Truth.
the Stick of Truth. Yeah, that one was pretty good. I
Okay.
played a good bit of that, but at the time it was turn-based strategy, turn-based combat, which
Yeah.
I despised, and I absolutely love now. It's really weird. So I got turned off by it, but it was a good adaptation of that TV show, which
Yeah.
is hard to do, especially in reverse. Looking at you,
Yeah,
Halo.
that Obsidian documentary on it was,
Yeah,
they covered a lot about it. They didn't want to do some of the things, like they had a hard time doing some of
the
the
jokes. Yeah,
the jokes. Yeah.
yeah. But got to know your
Uh
audience.
yeah, a couple more other things. Nothing really I would say is notable. They said there's a new Fantasy Life. I think they announced this like last year actually. I do like Fantasy Life. I think it's by level 5. I don't know if this one is. Um, it's kind of like a very light simulator, kind of like an Animal Crossing almost with combat.
Hmm.
Uh, I'll see if this one's any good. Probably eventually. I haven't even gone through the first one. There's one that was on. There's one title that I was interested in on Steam. The Next Fest. It's called Pepper Grinder. It's kind of like a platformer. Like you have a drill and you're kind of drilling through levels, and there's momentum based like platforming or movement to it.
Hmm.
And then uh I think there's a demo for it. I am very much interested in this. I might pick it up on, either Steam or the, Switch. Uh I'm not sure if you're looking at anything on it. But the
I'm
next
looking
title
for it. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
uh, next title is Pocket Card Jockey. It's by the Pokemon team actually, but
Really?
it's basically a re-release of a 3DS title. So
Okay.
this was one of those really tiny titles they did. It's by Game Freak. Yeah, Game Freak. But I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty addicting. It kind of reminds me of another title called Balatro, which seems to be hitting it off right now. But that Balatro is more of a card-based roguelite. Um, any case,
Wow.
um, honestly, like there's really not much of anything else. I know interesting is Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming as
Yeah, I
well.
saw that. Isn't that weird for a?
That is pretty weird,
I mean, that
but
game. It kind of struggled on Xbox One and PS4.
yeah, it was not a looker. So
No, it was a good game though. I liked it. Did you play it?
I had a hard time getting into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the was it the Royal Edition, whatever edition was coming to
Hmm.
Switch, also was on sale on Xbox. So I picked it up
Yeah.
for $4 rather than probably $60 here. So
Yeah, it is one of those games, and I hate to say it's like it's a slow starter. But once you get to the point, and you'll know what that is, it really amps up, and it's if you like history, and that time period, the Middle Ages, and just it kind of gives you like a top down view of living in that era. And gives you a
well,
realistic world to kind of
yeah,
explore
the
and
character
everything.
you have is like he's not like a hero or anything.
No,
He's
not at
kind of
all.
like
No, he's like the guy that would be in uh, the bad guy that the hero brings back like to the
yeah,
village. He would be the one like throwing stuff at him.
I see, I see.
It's like
I got it.
yeah, and throw that at him.
So realistic simulator.
Yeah, exactly. And the story is I like the story. And it does. There's no magic, there's no dragons, Although I do love that stuff, but it's kind of refreshing to see. It's like the tutorial is like, hey, this is what you would be doing in this time if you were just some schlub, living in a village. You go do this and you go to that and go talk to so and so and do your job and then it goes into this big sprawling story about some royalty and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, did not perform well on Xbox One. I don't think I went back and played on Xbox Series X. I'm sure it did. Obviously, it did better, but to see that go to Switch is
Interesting.
yeah, it's real
We'll see. We'll
interesting.
see.
We'll see. It's like 12 frames per second, or maybe.
Uh, Not much of anything else. They did in the sizzle reel is where they revealed Pentiment. So
Hmm.
it kind of had a quiet release, which is fine. I mean, the game is not is kind of niche, but interesting. They are releasing a physical copy of it through limited run games. So
Hmm.
that's your only way to get it physical. It's going to be a physical copy of all the systems, I believe. So if you
Yeah.
want a physical,
Yeah.
you can get it for Xbox as well.
Yeah. I don't think Grounded had a physical release.
Don't think so. I don't know if
Sea
Grounded
of
will get
Thieves
it.
did. Yeah. Um, but yeah, a lot of those games, they get a release, but they're not really, they don't continuously release them,
Yeah.
physically. They just go, here it is, whoever buys it. I mean, you're going to update it anyway. So, yeah. Man, you said level 5. Seems like level 5 like churns out an RPG like every 20 minutes.
They
It's like every time I see a game, I'm like, that looks like a level 5 game. It is a level 5 game. Oh, here's another one. Oh, it's
they
also
have a
level
lot
5.
of
Yeah.
titles.
Man,
I feel didn't they also I might be wrong, but didn't they also work on one of the Star Wars game like Rogue Leader or something? I could be wrong.
no,
Hold on.
that is oh, what
I'm curious now. I'm gonna
yeah,
look
I
it up.
am
Let
too. That's not. Maybe it is the same. Maybe I'm
me
thinking of
see.
somebody else. Could I be thinking of somebody else? Level 5. What's another RPG? Who makes Dragon Quest?
Factor 5. That was the developer.
Who made which one's Factor 5?
Star Wars Rogue
Okay,
Squadron
so
2.
I'm thinking of level 5, right? The RPG maker. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're different. We were just off by one word, but I mean,
It's 5-5 whatever.
halfway there.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
okay. I mean, in terms of direct, that's mostly it.
Hmm.
The last title they shown was Endless Ocean, which is a popular title. Well, it was kind of a eclectic title on Wii, and this is pretty much another port. As I mentioned.
Yep.
So that's it. Nothing. I would say extraordinary. It's 20 minutes of mostly trailers. Um, I don't know. I do give it a B for what it was, a partner showcase.
One thing I didn't see is anybody saying that this could be the announcement of the Switch 2. I didn't see anybody talking about that.
No, no, I'm pretty sure they were
So,
clear on the partner showcase.
yeah. Okay.
But for a partner showcase, there's a lot here. I'm a little bit more. I'm more surprised at like the volume of stuff, even if they are a bunch of ports and remakes, and then the amount of multi-plat stuff that was actually announced here.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that the Switch 2 could have compatibility with the Switch 1.
I think it will.
I
Yeah.
mean, I remember was it the first DS or no, the one of them had both the console, I mean both the cartridge slots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh
Actually, all the DSs had the cartridge slot except for the DSi, which I think was all digital.
okay. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's possible, and I can't see them using a different format, like an actual like physical format. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going to something else other than the little SD card. So even though they could be pumping out these titles, but yeah, they could be saving what they got for the big two, the big deuce. So
Yeah. We'll see.
yeah, this is going to be an interesting year. You know that? I mean, look at like so far. We're almost into March. Um, we got a huge double A title that literally blew up on Steam,
Two AA titles.
and then we got another one. Well, I don't want to say Helldivers 2 is not really blowing up. It's doing good, but as far as like Steam numbers and Steam sales, it's good. On a console, that would be really good. On Steam, it's good. Pal World, we're talking millions. Nobody really saw that coming. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
really, that was just came out of left field. And then we've got games that have been in production for how long is Skull and Bones been in? Like
Skull and Bones
11,
have
11 years?
existed 11 years, but I'm pretty sure they rebooted a couple times. So
Oh,
there's not
absolutely.
really,
No,
not really all 11
yeah.
years, of course.
I mean, if I remember the first time they showed it, it was basically Black Flag's combat system just in a game.
Yeah.
And had they just released that, 10 years ago, they probably would have made more money on it and probably would have been a better game.
Yeah.
But, and then, of course, Suicide Squad, we don't even have to talk about that anymore because I'm
still playing it, just saying, But
yeah, I mean, if you got
strong.
it and you're enjoying, that's great. But I mean, if we're talking about numbers and how it's doing, I can't gauge it on the consoles, but on Steam, like I think it had like 600 players last time I checked. 600. That's not 6,000 or 60,000. That's 600.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's a literal
Below
failure.
Expectations. Yeah.
Very, very below expectations. So, people are wising up, man. It's like it's AA's kind of where it's at. Look at RoboCop. RoboCop came out. Everybody's like, whatever. We're making a RoboCop game. Man, it's. I still want to get it. I'm still waiting for a decent sale. Yeah. I played the demo. I loved it. I mean, it's the movie. You're playing RoboCop the movie. You didn't want to do that.
I wish I got around to playing the demo. I forgot.
It's
demo.
ridiculous. It's like you're just walking around you're almost like a mech, and you got that.
Yeah.
You're just like blowing people away. It's totally
Switch
gory.
to launch title.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's totally gory. Totally on par with the movie. I mean, this is. I don't know. These even the developers that tweet about the success of like Pow World and Helldivers and are like, you guys don't understand. This is not a good game. We make good games. This is not a good game. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's basically what they're saying. You need to calm down. This game will not be around. Assassin's Creed 13 will be around for years. This one will be, it's a flash in a pan.
Well, with Power World, I'm not sure yet.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they made their money and they're making money on it and they'll continue to make money on it because the people that bought it, those millions of people that bought it, even if they're not playing it right now, they're going to play it later and they'll have an update and they'll have other stuff. And then they'll have Power World 1.0 because right now it's in early access. So if it's in early access, that means that it's not actually done yet. So then you have the release of it, the actual release, and then players
then we'll
go
have
up.
Actual reviews, yeah.
Right. Then you can have an actual review, and it'll be in Metacritic, and it's an official game, and all this stuff. AAA doesn't get to do that. They just have that one chance, put it out there, and
or they have betas, quote unquote betas.
Well, no, but I'm just mean as far as like a release.
Yeah.
They don't. It gets released. Here's the reviews, and here's the numbers it's doing. And just like Suicide Squad, it's like it doesn't. If it's a fun game to play, great. But if it's obviously tied around a store, and you pay $70, and then all the cosmetics and everything you want, you have to pay for. People are getting tired of that, man. The economy can't support that kind of game anymore. You have 4 or 5 of those games, and you're done. I've been playing Helldivers, and you earn stuff and you go buy stuff. With the stuff you earned, the credits that you earn, you can buy stuff and you can upgrade stuff and you can get new stuff. It's all about the stuff. But they do have a store. You can buy those credits. I haven't felt the need to, every time I play 3 or 4 matches and I go to the store, I'm like, oh, I can get that new cape. I can get that new helmet, I mean, it's just continuously, I paid my money for it. I don't feel like they're pushing me toward a store. But so many AAA games like that or so many AAA games are doing that. And it's exhausting and people are tired of it. It's just, it's not supportive to the industry. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. But Helldivers does have a store.
It does have a store, right. Right. But it's not I haven't even looked in the store that you buy stuff, like you actually physically buy stuff, because all the stuff that I'm getting, the rewards that I get, I use to use the store that you can use that currency. I mean, that might change. I might have, next week or a year from now, it might be a completely different story. But when you pay money for a game and you put time into it and you enjoy it, and then it gives you some minute reward that you can use to go to that. It's just like going to Chuck E. Cheese when you're a kid, man. You play skee ball. Skee ball's fun. Well, you also get tickets. What do you do with those tickets? You go and you buy whatever you can with those tickets, and then you get some cheap, crappy toy that you with those tickets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You don't take those tickets and go, oh, you're about 4 short, but I can sell you 10 tickets for $30 and you can get what you want. That doesn't work that way. Nobody does that. But AAA games do it all the time, And it's ridiculous and it's stupid. And I admittedly buy stuff. Halo Infinite. I have bought, there's been armor before that I'm like, maybe there was, there probably was a couple of beers involved. I don't know, but it's like, there it is. Now I'm wearing the Halo C armor,
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's so badass looking, but I mean, I could have earned it. No, you have to buy it. And I know, I mean, I admittedly buy stuff every once in a while. Destiny 2, I don't know anybody that played Destiny 2 and did not buy something from the store with real money.
I didn't. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, how many hours did you put in Destiny 2?
I put in a fair amount.
Did
just
you?
Not before it went on. What was it when it got off BattleNet? I did not play it as much afterwards.
Okay.
Which I think that's when they left Activision, right? Mm-hmm. I think I was still playing when they were with Activision.
Okay. And you didn't buy anything, like nothing? Wow.
Except for the expansion, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I wish I could stay the same. I bought stuff here and there. Of course, then you realize that, again, there's that circumventing of paying more. It's like you have just enough. So you can't buy just enough to get what you want. You have to buy more than what you got. So then when you spend that, well, now you only have this much. Well, this much won't get you that next thing. So then, anyway, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Don't worry.
It gets, not that the store is the most important part of the game. It's just when games start respecting your time and the money you have already spent on it, it's refreshing. It's I applaud them. When games do that, when they are, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is terrible at that. You play that game for 30 hours and you clear this whole area and say your level, and that area is like 12 to 16, right? So you got to be level 12 to 16 to do all this. And then you go, okay, where do I go next? Oh, you go to this next one. The next one is right here. Well, that's 25 to 30. So everything there is like super OP. Okay, all right. Well, then I guess I need to upgrade my base, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. So then you get into this grind where it turns out to be like 5 hours worth of stuff to level up just so that you can go to the next story mission. Or you can just go to the store and buy 10 levels, right? So now you're level 26, and you can just continue the story without having to do all this other stuff. That to me is that's where people are just getting, it's like, we're not stupid, I mean, that's not respecting my time. That's just respecting my wallet in the sense of, you can buy you can spend more money to not play your game. So this year's going to be different. We've got some Xbox games coming out that we know of. We've got Rise of Ronin coming out. And honestly, Avowed to me is really the only one that looks promising. I don't know how you feel about Rise of Ronin or Indiana Jones or Avowed.
I feel like those games will be okay. It's not something I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
I guess Avowed is probably one of my higher ones, but I feel like I'm missing a title that I'm not really thinking of right now. I'll think about it later. 2? That one, I feel like I need to finish the first one, or at least get started.
Play a chunk of it. Yeah, I don't think you really have to finish it. But they did say recently, and we should have put this in our news actually, that it is not 30 frames per second. It is uncapped.
Uncapped.
Right. So it's going to be probably on consoles. It may be around 40 to 50. And then on PC, it will be, obviously, it's not capped to anything. So it's really just depends
Yeah.
on you. So that's a little more promising. And the guy
It doesn't look that demanding, does it? I mean, because this is
I
RE
mean, it's the RE engine
or
seems to perform really well, especially on
yeah.
PC. So I don't know. Again, I'm super excited about that, but I'm not getting that day one. I'm going to wait and see what people say about the performance. Because those are titles that are not usually, if they don't come out optimized, they don't really get a lot of optimization.
Yeah.
Afterwards. But I digress. Anyway, so let's move on to, we got a couple of rumors. Which one, I got this rumor and it ended up being true, so it doesn't really count. But I don't know if, and nobody's been talking about this. Did you know that Dead Island 2 is on Game Pass right now?
Yeah, that's a stealth drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really announced or anything. It was a rumor like Monday, I think. So I put it into my notes, and boom, there it was. Not on PC, but it's on Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, I don't know why it's not on PC Game Pass. And of course, I bought that game, so it's not relevant to me. But
yeah,
it's a fun game. It's worth playing on Game Pass. It's good stuff, zombie stuff. And the other one, this one pertains to you, and you might have heard this. Jeff Grubb is saying that Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year from the source that said that Epic Mickey is also coming this year. So
hopefully that's true. I'm still eager to see it. Maybe a Switch 2 launch.
How long have we been doing this podcast? It seems like this has been a rumor since we've been doing this podcast. We're on episode 75. This has been like a rumor almost every week.
Yeah.
I don't know,
we
man.
got people on the forums just like posting every week without Metroid Prime, and then they have a picture of their Samus figure in a different position in a different area.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like week 52 of no Metroid Prime 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, that's the only rumors that I could come up with that were not just complete batshit crazy.
Well, I think I mentioned the other one was the Switch announcement, Switch 2 announcement, maybe.
Yeah.
Which we'll see. I mean, this is like the Metroid Prime rumor. It's like every week.
Yeah, but the difference is that the Switch 2 is inevitable. I mean, it's obvious they are making another one.
Trust me, Metroid Prime 4 is inevitable.
I mean, well, okay. If Skull and Bones can come out, then man, it's anything goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just use your imagination. If they can actually release that game, then go for it. And I hope that what country did they borrow a bunch of money from to get that made? Like Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. Hope they're paid and everything. So yeah. Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's our show, episode 75. Unless you got another
75.
rumor or something. You know what we didn't do last week? You know what you didn't do last week?
What was it?
You didn't mention I shaved my beard.
Oh, I felt like I mentioned it the week before.
No, because I didn't. It was last week.
Oh, okay.
I'm growing it back though. I did it wrong. I'm doing over. So
Don't worry.
I see you shaved yours.
I shaved a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a do-over. I wish I could grow it back in a different color. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that. But my game character will have a different color.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All my game characters now tend to have gray hair. It's funny how that works.
I kind of keep my game characters similar, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a saying for us? We didn't do that last week either.
We didn't do it last week.
No.
I thought we were cutting it out, so I was gonna see if you're gonna say something.
May the force be with you. That's all I got.
Oh,
yeah.
let me find.
You have a list, don't you? You have like a whole list. I knew it. Okay, I knew you had a list. You just gotta like pull one out of your hat.
I slowly add it, and let's see. Okay, was it some people can never get enough of a bad thing? Wait, hold on. I might have screwed this one up.
Brought to you by Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I'm gonna scratch that one.
Okay.
Cool is cool forever, man. Which is Todd Howard.
Cool is cool forever.
Yeah.
Huh.
He said that for his Fallout 3 making interview. It's like on the Fallout 3 making of the game disc. I think it came with the special edition.
I don't agree with that. So, I
I
mean,
don't agree with it either.
you
It's just a
know,
quote.
I mean, putting little jewels all over your clothes used to be, cool. Now, or maybe that
I don't
wasn't
think that
ever
was
cool.
ever
Maybe
cool.
that wasn't ever
But
cool.
okay,
Bad example. Wearing pants made out of parachute material was cool. Not so much now. Yeah, very noisy.
it's coming
Um,
back
I'm sure
eventually.
everything comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, mullets will come back too, I'm sure. But regardless, yeah, that's a good saying. But yeah, coming from Todd Howard and after Starfield, I'm like, yeah, I can see him saying that. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see him. Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6, my excitement for Elder Scrolls 6 has it's come down to
Wane just a little bit.
just a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
So
it's got a lot of years. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah, I just hope I don't die before it comes out.
That's
So
always a plus. Yeah.
yep. All right, cool. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week, and
All
or
right.
you're moving next week.
Yeah, more or less.
Maybe
Yeah.
next
We'll
week.
we'll we'll
We'll
see.
see.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, maybe next week. So bye. Have a great week.
All right. Bye.